You are listening to the Hodges Huddle, where we discuss all things in the wide world of sports. Here is your KLSU sports team.
And welcome into the Hodges Huddle. I am your host, Michael Poggi, and today I am joined by OG Jaden Smith and the young buck, William Gil Reith. We got Andre Champagne back there. Say what's up. Say what's up.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. How you guys doing today, man? It's a little Monday post Super
Chill
Bowl.
day.
Super Bowl Sunday. Is it a magical Monday? What do we got?
It is, man. It weather's nice.
Yeah,
it
it is.
feels
Yeah.
like summer. Almost,
It does.
man.
It was beautiful today.
Yeah.
It was beautiful outside today. What about you, Will? You
Feeling
had a
good.
day?
Classes were easy today. Super Bowl was fun. Just
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It was a little
relaxing
little
day.
different.
A little
huh?
different,
A
yeah,
little
yeah.
different. Well, we do have a great show for you guys today as we get to discuss
Yeah.
everything that went down last night in the Super Bowl, as well as talk about a little bit of the NBA where Luka debuts tonight. Even though this will be coming out later, Luka does debut on this
Tonight,
Monday.
yeah.
For the Lakers, and maybe if we have time, each of our gambling picks of the week, one little lock for you guys for this week. And then, obviously, last night, the Philadelphia Eagles got it done defeating the Kansas City Chiefs, winning 40-22, ultimately 40-22,
Yeah.
ultimately winning Super Bowl 59.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the halftime show for you guys, fellas? Opening
go?
off.
I'll go. Look, I like Kendrick. All right, I'm a big
Uh-oh.
Kendrick guy. I was a little disappointed. I know that's a hot take. I was a little disappointed. I thought the performance was good. The song selection was fine. I think I just had very big expectations, and I don't know if it exceeded my expectations. I thought my thought process was it's the Super Bowl. I don't know if him trying to get at that one Canadian made the most sense to me during the Super Bowl. I mean, I know that's a big part of Kendrick, but that's just my personal take. I thought he did a fine job. I don't think it was ever. People are like, that's the greatest. I don't think it was the greatest. Definitely was not the worst, but I don't think it was the greatest.
Okay. I
You
didn't.
got an opinion on
Yeah.
it. Let's hear what
Yeah.
you got to say. Come on.
I didn't see nobody say it was the great. I kind of saw mixed reviews about it. It was kind of just like it really wasn't any in between. It was either like you really loved. For most of it, from what I saw, it just seemed like it was you either really loved it or you really hated it. And the people that loved it and hated it all looked like the same within their own vote, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But me personally, I had to rewatch it because I was watching the game with friends, and it's so much happening. So it's stuff that you like missing, and you're not like really processing as it's happening in real time. But I thought it was great. I mean, one thing I want to point out and make clear is like he is the first solo rapper to headline the Super Bowl. Like he's not a singer. And so rappers doing a show of this magnitude, like it's different as to where a Beyonce, a Michael, a Prince would be doing this show. Like rappers don't dance.
Right.
Like people
Right.
have to do the dancing for
Right.
them. So I thought it was brilliant as far as like the choreography went. Like the backup dancers in the red, white, and blue, like the GNX and how people was getting out of it like a clown car. Like he had like light posts on the stage. Like I saw Serena Crip walking.
yeah.
Like, and I also thought there was like a lot of symbolism within the performance. And I think the best part about it is that no one really has a true understanding of what a lot of the symbolics meant.
Yeah.
But Kendrick Lamar, like everybody, he leaves it up for everybody to have their
Right.
own interpretation. Like
Right.
nobody truly knows. Like, and I think it's one of those things where we're not gonna understand it until later. But I mean, like, from the moment it first started, like my attention was captured. Like, oh, that's Samuel L. Jackson playing
Yeah.
Uncle Sam. Like,
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that was like
That
a,
was nice.
a really nice touch. Like, it's just things like that. So I think, given the fact that he's a rapper and not a singer and a dancer and whatnot. I thought he did a great job as far as being able to captivate the audience and keep them really honed in the entire performance. I think the only, not criticism, but I think just kind of like, I don't know if I would have done it that way, is the song selection. I didn't expect him to perform most of the stuff from GNX. Like
you picked the first one.
I
though.
did.
You
I said
picked the
it was
first
gonna
one.
be like something
Squabble up.
we hadn't heard before, and sure enough. But I mean, I just thought it was a no brainer. He'd play, I don't know, Money Trees or Swimming Pools or Don't Kill My Vibe or something like that. But nonetheless, I thought it was a great performance. Yeah, man, and I'm interested to see where the Super Bowl halftime show goes from here on out as well.
I'm not the biggest Kendrick fan myself, so I didn't really enjoy it that much.
Okay.
I am that guy from Canada he was talking about. I'm a fan of him, but
Yeah.
what you got something to say, big dog? Oh, you ain't nothing.
I mean,
my bad.
I liked it. It was good. That's all I'm gonna say. My thing is, for the Super Bowl, you gotta be able to know your audience, right? Like, and I think, like, if you're doing too much to the point where, like, you got the old heads saying, "What is going on, man?" Like,
Yeah.
it's just a little too much.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. Like,
I
I liked it a lot, but that's my thing. It's weird. Like Jaden said, it's a rapper. It's one of the first
Right.
rappers that have done it. So it's just kind of weird where you compare him to the others.
Right.
It's weird.
Well,
That's all I'll say.
I completely agree with what you were saying about like how you get Samuel L. Jackson in there and it just immediately catches your attention. So I thought that was really cool. But moving on to the actual game itself, fellas, not at all what I thought was going to happen. That is for sure. But ultimately, let's break it down. What an amazing game from that Eagles defensive unit, all the way around from the linebackers to the D line, all the way to the secondary. Starting with that defensive line, how good was Josh Sweat last night, and why could the Chiefs just not figure out a single way to stop him?
You go.
Look, I think at halftime, did they have 4 sacks at halftime?
I think so. Something
I
like
think
that.
I think they
It
were.
was 3 or 4.
I think Mahomes was pressured on 52% of plays, and I don't think the Eagles blitzed.
They didn't
once.
blitz one
It was
time
just
last night.
pure domination from the defensive front.
Yeah.
And I definitely did not expect that. And the Eagles were probably the one team in the league that could do that, and they did. And I have a lot of respect to those guys. Josh Sweat, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Just thinking back to the first play, when Mahomes is avoids them all, and
Right.
was it Jalen Carter or was it Jordan Davis? Jalen Carter just forces the throwaway. It was almost a pick. I mean,
Yeah,
like-
he had a play on that fourth down
yeah,
too.
it was just every single snap they just dominated the trenches, and that I certainly didn't expect it. I don't know if you guys did, but
No.
I mean that was just it was honestly just fun to watch it happen
Mm-hmm.
because I don't remember the last time I've seen an NFL defensive line dominate like that in the playoffs.
Yeah. I didn't expect it either, but I did say that like that was gonna be key
Yes.
to them winning the game. Like you got to make Mahomes uncomfortable. Like it's just that simple. I think Rex Ryan said it on the show this morning. Like when you hit the quarterback, like the whole team feels it, not just the quarterback.
Right.
Like
Yes.
it's a trickle effect. But this was just a case of good old fashioned smash mouth football.
Right.
Like you said, they didn't blitz one time last night. They were rushing 4 all night long and dropping 7 back into coverage. It was as simple as win your matchup, run through somebody's face, and go get to the quarterback. Like
and they won their match.
Oh,
they
yeah.
won their matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Like it just there are so many sayings that come to mind like that would encapsulate this game. Like there's always a bigger fish. Like
Yeah.
the Chiefs got bullied, they got babied, they got punked, they got Lil Boyd, they got sunned. Like however you want to put it. This was just this was a whooping. Like, this was a whooping, man. Like,
Yeah.
and even to the point I said on the Sunday show, like, I'm cool with risking a flag here or two just so you can set the memo, just so you can set the tone, like letting them know, like,
And
no,
Like, we're here to
it's,
play.
It's not
Yeah.
happening
Yeah.
today.
and they did exactly that. It wasn't just like they showed pressure early. They kept that foot on the
They
neck.
kept their foot
and
on the neck.
That's
Like,
what
even
it was, man.
even like towards the end of the game, like where like he hit Mahomes' his arm, and he loses the ball,
Yes.
and even in the process of that,
Yes.
Jalen Carter just hands right to the face, like should have been a flag, but it wasn't. But like it's stuff like that that just sums up like the entirety of the game. Like
Mhm.
like no, I'm going to whoop you today, and it's nothing you can do about it. Like there is no better feeling than seeing a team like the Chiefs like just complain and look for flags and look for bailouts. Like there was none of that. They weren't picking up any cheap penalties or anything like that. Like
Right.
it was so bad. Like the refs couldn't even be a factor.
No.
100%, man.
It couldn't even get to that point.
Yeah, no, he was great. And that brings me to my next point. Like, who else on the D line was someone you saw really dominate that KC offensive front? Because man, it wasn't just like it was one person. They were all
No.
coming at you full speed, and it was just straight like smash mouth football
Yes.
both sides, man. So what do you guys think?
Bro, I'm gonna say this: Jalen Carter is gonna be wearing a gold jacket one day. Like I firmly believe that. Like he is one of the most disruptive like front linemen like I've seen. That I'm only 20 years old, so there's only so much of the NFL that I've watched that I can like just vividly remember. But he's near the top of that list.
Yeah.
Like it's only a few I've seen be as disruptive as him. You know, Aaron Donald, Geno Atkins, and Ndamukong Suh. Like that is how good he is. The Chiefs only crossed the 50-yard line on one of their first 9 possessions.
They had one
They-
first down.
They didn't get into enemy territory until the fourth quarter.
And it's so crazy to think about that it's the same Kansas City Chiefs that we
Yeah.
Bro, it's just this is what happened. This is what happens when you have another team who also does, like you said last night, they do the little things right. Like it's not gonna be these 1-score games that the refs have to bail you out with, or just some super unfortunate turn of events happen. Like, no, you go out, you make the plays that you're supposed to make, like, and you can take care of the game early. You don't even have to do all that. But like Jalen Carter he is a monster, man. Just
Beast.
flat out.
What you got, Big Will?
I was gonna say Jalen Carter too, and I agree with everything you just said.
Yeah.
It seemed like every single play he was making a difference. He
Yeah.
was getting into the backfield. He was dominating on every single play, and he did not slow down one bit. And I would be shocked if he doesn't win a defensive, maybe not a defensive player of the year. I'd be shocked if he's not a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
And I think he will go down as one of the greatest defensive linemen of all time.
Yeah, and look, man, I'm gonna go a little bit different since we're both saying this
Yeah.
same guy here. Man, how about that game from? Hold on, I just had it. Oh,
I
jeez.
mean, you can take your pick, bro.
Yeah,
it was
it was
the
all
whole
of them.
defense.
It was
well, I
all of
mean,
them.
dude, Ajomo had an amazing game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ajomo had an amazing game, but really, what I was trying to say was Jordan Davis.
Yes.
90 had a great game, and really, you know, that's what the Eagles were trying to get out of him ever since they got him in the
Yeah.
draft, man. And those, like, it's just hard to think about because even though that D line has been the best all season,
Mm-hmm.
it really has been the best all season. At least me, I don't know, but me, that's not what I expected.
They didn't look like
Yeah. Because it's not like I've watched the Eagles all year. They didn't look like that all season.
Yeah.
They looked good. The defensive line has always been really good,
Yeah.
probably the best in football.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't look anything like last night.
yeah.
And it wasn't even like they were blitzing, 6 or 7. No, it
Right.
was just those guys
Yeah.
dominating every single play.
Yeah.
Milton Williams, what did he have? 2 sacks? He'd 1 or 2. Josh Sweat, what did he have? 2.5.
2.5.
Well, Josh Sweat had 2.5, but then he had 2 tackles and 4 assists.
Yeah.
Like, I was surprised he didn't win Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
I thought he had a very good argument.
Yeah, absolutely. another name thrown there, Nolan Smith. Like, dude, like
Nolan Smith.
that was just pure like domination, and like they made a 15-win Kansas City Chiefs team look like they didn't belong in the Super
Right.
Bowl.
No.
Man, they looked like, and I can see why I saw other fan bases tweeting like, this is making me mad because like, you know, we definitely would have put up a better performance than this. But like I said, when you get away with cheap wins all the time, that somebody has to gift you, or that like something absolutely ridiculous happens, like you're gonna get exposed. Eventually, you're gonna have to show up and play, and it's about
Right.
X's and O's. And as great as 15 is, and Andy Reid is, and Spags is, like I said, man, there's always a bigger fish, and the Chiefs just didn't have it this year, and it just showed. Like the receiving core wasn't good enough. I mean, they stopped Saquon. Like you did that,
Yeah.
but then again, like I said it, the Eagles I think have the best roster, just top to bottom. Saquon didn't even matter.
And-
they didn't need Saquon last
And
night.
to that point, let's move to the secondary.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the secondary because what a game
Yeah.
from that secondary. Cooper DeJean with the pick six, obviously setting the tone at the end of that second quarter, you know, for the first half,
Yeah.
which honestly started the blowout.
It did.
And honestly, like, besides DeJean, who else in that secondary really stood out to you and made an impact in changing the game? Because there's a couple.
Yeah. I'm going to say CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Right.
Another one of our, like we all agree, like a big part to stopping this Chiefs team is you have to cover and account for the middle of the field. And there was none of that going on. Like there was a few plays that were open, but the Chiefs were so rattled they couldn't even convert on the easy ones. Like
And
that,
they had it early, but after like a couple plays early, they fixed that
Exactly.
immediately. They fixed it up real
exactly.
quick.
Like they just put on a clinic, man. Like I don't even know what else to say, bro. Like it's literally just if you do what you're supposed to do, everything else will take care of itself. I promise you. That's all you have to do. Like cover the middle of the field. You can't let second and third string caliber receivers beat you all night long. I mean, Xavier finished with what, like 157 and 2 tutties, but I mean,
But
it
the
didn't matter.
game was over.
Right.
Yeah.
Garbage time. You did it against the third stringers. Like,
And we're going to talk about that
yeah.
at the end.
Like,
We're going to talk about
yeah,
that.
the Eagles just, they really showed up to play, man.
And to your point about the middle of the field, Kelsey was dropping balls. Zach Bond, I thought he played
Yeah.
phenomenal.
We're talking
He
about
had,
That
him.
pick was
he
crazy.
had that
We're gonna talk
interception.
about
That was a
him.
great play.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just think I don't even know if you can. I don't think it's fair to just call out one guy.
Yeah.
You know, obviously Cooper was great. CJ was great. I mean,
Yeah.
he had that pick six that it didn't really count.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
But still, it was just every single player on that team. It was just a total team effort, and they
Yeah.
all won their matchup. They all. It was like one on one, like you mentioned,
Mhm.
and we're just gonna bully you. Like
Yeah.
they have the better athletes. They have the more athletic players. I
Yeah.
mean, Patrick Mahomes is a great athlete, but there's only so much he could do.
Right.
DeAndre Hopkins is not what he used to be.
Yeah.
And they said on paper we're the better team, so
Yeah.
we're gonna play like it's on paper.
Yeah.
And I was shocked with
Yeah.
what I was seeing. I couldn't believe it. I don't think the Chiefs' offense has been stopped or that frustrated since the dynasty started.
Yeah. That was, like at the point where it was 34-0, that was Mahomes, like, that was his largest deficit that he'd
Deficit.
ever
Yeah.
faced. In
Ever.
his
And
career.
that was the
Yes.
second largest deficit
Yeah.
in Super Bowl history,
Yeah.
I believe.
It's
Like,
so crazy
yeah.
to just even
And
like,
it's the
think about.
Kansas City Chiefs that were going for a third straight Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And that's what happened.
And
Yeah.
I feel like an idiot because the way I was talking about them last week, it was like they couldn't even be stopped at all.
Right. We almost thought they weren't
Yeah,
human.
just-
No,
Like,
yeah.
Like it's on me. My bad.
Yeah.
Like I
I
think
kinda
I
got-
single-handedly ruined the Chiefs dynasty.
well,
you know?
I appreciate you.
Thank
for
you.
doing that.
Thank you very
I
much.
think I
Like,
did it. Yeah, it's
It kind of reminded me of like, kind of like one of those dominant college football programs that just they always find a way to sneak into the national championship again. They find a
Yeah,
way
it
to
felt
sneak
like
into
it-
the college
it
football
felt like
playoffs,
Bama-
no matter
Bama
what.
with Saban.
And then it's like, well, this team just happened to be better this year. Like that's what it was. Like the Eagles were the better team, and they went out there and played like it, man. Like
Mhm.
just it wasn't even close, bro. Like
At all.
I don't know how the Chiefs won 15
At all.
games this
And
year.
like there were points where you're thinking to yourself, like, as a fan,
Mhm.
like just as a football fan, like I'm sitting there and it's, it's 17, it's 20, it's whatever it is, and I'm like, I still think they can come back,
Bro, I still thought
at halftime I
Well,
was like, I
yeah.
still think they can
I
come
remember
back.
saying the same thing when they played the Bucks. And I was
Yeah.
sitting there and I was like, the Chiefs, they're not out. They're
Right.
not out of it. They're not out of it. And they were. And it almost felt like those two games, 2021 and last night
Yeah.
were like the exact same for
Mhm.
Kansas City. And just that they just got dominated.
And they just could not do anything.
No.
Like I didn't even think that their defense played bad.
I thought
I-
their defense played the best they had played in terms of their
Like-
front seven had played the best they played all postseason.
Their
Yeah.
defense played fine. And it wasn't even like, it's just offensively, you could not get anything going.
No.
nothing.
Yeah.
And that brings me to my next point. Chauncey and Reed, like
Yeah.
you talked about, were also just on point. What
Yeah.
did you like? Not even just last night, all season. How have those two been in those safety roles, just like all year, leading to this point?
They're not just like coverage guys, like they're playmakers. Like if the
Reed
ball's
played so
in the air, they're going to get it. They're not trying to go for pass breakups and things like that. Like bro, just a clinic, man. Like just do your job. Like quite literally, bro. Just do your job and be pretty good at it.
Right.
Like you guys are the safeties. Like you take care of the middle of the field. If anything comes back here, you got that. Like there was a few plays like you mentioned earlier where they might have gave up something, but again, like the defense was playing so good, like you could afford a few mishaps here and there. And
Right.
teams usually cannot afford anything like that against the Kansas City Chiefs, man. But like Will said, like it's so good it almost feels kind of like a slight to just highlight one or two players, like because it was a total team effort. Like everybody got bullied. Travis Kelce couldn't get open, and when he did get open, he didn't even want to catch the ball, man. Like I saw CJ kind of like chipped him towards the end of the play. He get up
Right.
like trying to get in his face, provoke him to get a flag and stuff like that. Like it's not gonna work today, bro. Like it's not your day. I'm sorry.
And Reed and CJ all night. Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of speechless, as I definitely didn't expect it to happen, and the Eagles defense, right? Those are 11 guys that like you said
Mhm.
can put on a clinic on any given night. But it
Yeah.
was last night where it finally all came together.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it really resembled like that Georgia team in when they played TCU or
Georgia
the
Bulldogs.
Alabama's in 11.
I mean the Philadelphia
Bulldogs.
Bulldogs.
Yeah.
I mean, like the way it's like that's how they've always played football.
Mhm.
And
And it was last night where they said play like you played when you were playing Pee Wee,
Yeah.
where you just know you're the best player on the field.
yeah, man. And look, and I completely agree. And that brings, like Fangio had a game plan
Yeah.
for this game, and like we were saying last week about how Spags has got this game plan and it's going to be ready, and he's been prepping this for weeks,
Yeah.
for months.
Mhm.
Man, Fangio was doing the same thing,
Yeah.
and he was prepared. And
Yeah.
that doesn't, Spags was also prepped. Spags was ready to go. That
He
defense
was. It's just-
was good, but man, he won that battle.
Yeah. And
Last
Spags
night,
did his
that's for
job.
sure.
Like the Eagles have done the same thing all year. Like we're gonna run the football straight down your face with our 2,000-yard rusher.
Mhm.
And the minute you start giving him too much attention, we're gonna give it to Jalen Hurts. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. But like we say, this Eagles team just has so many layers and elements to it. Okay, you want to stack the box. Saquon can't get anything going. Okay, I'm going to put the ball in my $250 million quarterback's hands, and I'm going to let him throw the ball to my all-pro receiver, A.J. Brown, and my Pro Bowl receiver, Devontae Smith, and I'm going to let them go make plays and win their matchups. Like, that's pretty much what happened. Like,
Right.
Spags' game plan, it works, but you also
There's
have the
only
game
so much
plan.
you can do.
Right, you have
There's
the
only
game
so
plan
much
for the
you can do.
passing game as well.
You can't, and that's where the two, Fangio and Spags are different in that
Yeah.
he only had to say, how can I bully them? How can
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
force? How can we as a defense invoke fear in their eyes?
Yeah.
And Spags is over here like, okay, how do I stop him? How do I stop Saquon? Okay, I gotta blitz 7. Okay, but then I gotta worry about AJ Brown
Yeah.
or like you said Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
I mean it's like it's the same.
And Jalen Hurts
and
throwing
and
dots.
Jalen Hurts
Man.
legs
Yeah.
too. Like and I just want to I'm personally I was very wrong about Jalen Hurts.
Me too.
I was sitting
Me
sitting
too.
in the 5 dining hall yesterday
Yeah.
talking to my friend and I said, this is insane. Patrick Mahomes really only had to beat Jalen Hurts, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Brock Purdy to win his Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And to Jalen Hurts, he proved me wrong. So Jalen
don't,
Hurts,
Don't you
yeah,
worry.
I'm sorry.
We're talking about him
Yeah,
real soon.
yeah.
Real soon we talking about him. But lastly on this defense, let's bring back Zach Bond. What a game by Zach
What a
Bond. And
game.
honestly, what a game from Oren Burks as well.
Yeah.
Those linebackers were unbelievable, fully dominating all game. And an amazing season by Zach Bond all year. And he's been
Yeah.
incredible. And that, Fangio had those guys ready to roll in the roles that they were going to play. Man, what does that say about that effort that they played last night?
It's like they came into this game. I don't know if it's like with a chip on their shoulder, but they came into this game thinking like, we're better than y'all. Like, it's just that simple. Like, I think they heard all the chat. Like, bro, the Chiefs, like you said, it got to a point where they just seemed like just unstoppable. Like, I don't
Right.
know how you beat this. Like Andre literally said, they're gonna be my Super Bowl pick until I see them lose, because I'm not convinced that they can. I'm not convinced otherwise.
Right.
But like I said, the Eagles didn't care about any of that. You know how like growing up in grade school or YMCA or AAU, you playing sports and you see the other team get off the bus and you're like, man, them dudes, they look way bigger than us. Like, and then you line up and it's like, oh wait, these guys are like way bigger, way faster, way stronger, way younger, I may add. Like, that's what happened, man. Like, the Eagles were the better team, and quite honestly, I think they should have been more respected in the lead up into this game. I think
Yes.
the refs controversy, it really made people, I guess, not realize like just how good the Eagles were.
Man,
bro.
real quick, Zach Bond was running kickoffs for the New Orleans Saints. I just want to say
just
that.
last year.
He was running kickoffs.
Yeah.
What you got?
Dennis Allen made that guy get donuts and orange juice every morning. I
Well.
would just like to point that out.
Kellen's on the way. Kellen's
Yeah,
on the
he
way.
is on the way. He is on the way. What you think about that linebacker unit? last
Man,
night,
I'm running out of ways to describe the Eagles. Like
It's not even much to describe.
I
like,
mean,
yeah,
every snap, it was every snap,
yeah.
and someone was gonna make a play.
Mhm.
Zach Bond, that was a great interception. Like I don't think I rewatched that on my phone 5, 6, 7 times, cause he just
I didn't think it was any way he was gonna like
no.
survive the ground.
and he did, and he held on to it. It was like he was saving a kid from a building. Man, it was like you said. It was. I know.
Bro, we keep saying
we
that,
keep
like,
saying
like
this.
you said.
Like you said. I think you described that perfectly.
Yeah,
They got off the bus. Ooh, these guys, they're too big. Ooh,
Yeah.
these guys, they're too tall. It was like there's only so much that a scheme can do when you have to play 5-star, all pro. Like there's
Yeah.
only so much that Andy Reid's
Right.
brilliant, because it is brilliant,
Yeah.
football mind can do. Because at the end of the day, the Eagles, I think part of it was that they were not gonna lose again.
Right.
Yeah.
They went into their head saying, we lost last time. We're not. It's not happening again.
Right.
Like, because they probably should have won that game in Super Bowl 57.
yeah.
They
I
probably
didn't
should have
like
won it.
That the flag ended up deciding.
Yeah.
it,
Well,
like, yeah.
but it was that they were up 10-0. And I know
They were,
I
yeah.
know that's not a big lead, but if you're up 10, especially if it's 10-0, you feel You
Right.
feel like you're the better
Right.
team.
Yeah.
And then they let it slip away. And they let it slip away. And then they let the flag beat them.
Yeah.
And last night they weren't going to let that happen. And
Not
it,
last night.
it was just a total team effort.
And we'll get to that other side of the team.
Yeah.
Move
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
the offensive side of the
Yeah.
ball
Yeah.
for Philly, man. Let's talk about QB1.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that Super Bowl MVP, Jalen Hurts.
Man.
17 of 22, throwing for 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, as well as 1 interception. But man, he was on point last night, throwing dots. And even when something wouldn't go his way, right back to it.
Right
And
back to
the
it.
running game wasn't there last night. Didn't matter. You figured it out with your own legs. You figured it out with your arm. You know, you get paid the big bucks, and you did it. You defeated the guy that they said you couldn't defeat. They being me, you
Right.
know, like you prove everybody wrong and play amazing.
Yeah.
Like what'd you have to think about
Man,
that,
first of all,
like initial thoughts.
I owe Jalen Hurts a big
apology.
apology, man. Like, I was not familiar with your game.
That's the perfect
Like-
way to put it.
Like, and I never thought he was a bad quarterback by any means, but I just thought he's surrounded by so much talent. Like, oh, that's why he's good. That's why he's able to do this and that, because
Bro.
he doesn't have to carry a very heavy workload. And I guess he still doesn't, but he proved that, okay, even with Saquon not being effective, I can go win you the football game too, on the biggest stage, I may add. Like, the throw he made to Devontae Smith, he couldn't have put that ball anywhere else. If
Right.
that ball was anywhere else, Devontae Smith would not have been able to reel that ball in, bro.
Saquon had 57 rushing yards on 25 attempts, and the Eagles scored 40 points.
Yeah.
Saquon had 2
And they
yards
could have
to carry.
scored more too.
And they put Kenny Pickett in.
Yeah,
They put that is
Bro,
like
They did the
you just
Gatorade
walk
bath.
off the field like before the 2-minute warning.
The Chiefs scored a touchdown after they had done the Gatorade
Yeah.
bath. Like, that's how much time was still left
Yeah.
in the game. Like,
3 minutes. They did
that-
it with
bro,
3 minutes.
it was 40-22. It wasn't even that close.
No,
Like,
It was-
it was like 40-14.
I mean
bro.
at one point they were up. The biggest lead was 34.
34 to
Like,
nothing.
and it was just like we said, like I said earlier, like you just said, like Jalen Hurts was not familiar with your game.
yeah,
But he played a beautiful game.
bro.
Right.
And also,
And-
he set a Super Bowl record for like rushing yards by a quarterback in
Really?
the game with 72.
Really?
Yeah,
And you know, his one rushing touchdown was the tush push.
Yeah.
So people are gonna put an asterisk next to it. But like, still, he had.
Hey, if it ain't broke,
If it
don't
ain't broke,
fix
don't
Right.
fix it. I
Don't
mean,
fix
the league might ban it. We'll see what they do with that.
yeah.
But I mean, the AJ Brown touchdown, the even on that first drive, right?
Mhm.
That was a beautiful ball he
was a
threw to
dot.
AJ Brown.
Yeah.
He threw a dot.
And then the dot to Devonta Smith, bro.
And then- yeah,
it
was just- it was-
beautiful ball.
And I really thought that if the Chiefs, I think a lot of people thought if the Chiefs stopped Saquon, they'd win the game.
Mhm.
Because if you go quarterback for quarterback, there's no way Jalen Hurts could outplay Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
But he did.
He did.
Yep.
He did. And, you know, he had better talent around him, but it wasn't even the talent.
Yeah,
It was Jalen Hurts saying, I'm going to win this Super Bowl.
yeah.
I'm going to win the Super Bowl tonight.
You know, and then like I go back to move. We're gonna move to back to Saquon,
Mm-hmm.
feeling almost invisible. You know, out there, like I said, 57 yards. But man, we said it. You know, the rushing game didn't phase Jalen Hurts at all. It didn't phase Kellen Moore one bit.
Yeah.
No.
And like, what did he have to do to kind of adjust? And man, as like a Saints, as us three, we're all Saints fans.
Yeah.
As Saints fans, how does that make you feel about hopefully him coming in as your projected head coach? You know what I mean?
Relieved. I feel so relieved.
Yeah.
I don't understand why he wants to leave the Eagles to come coach. Why would you leave
Yeah, you
Jalen
got- you
Hurts and
gotta be
AJ Brown
crazy.
to come coach Derek Carr?
Yeah.
Like,
Money,
I understand the money,
because
but like,
we said we'll pay whatever we have
but like,
to get him.
the sad thing is we have to do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I'm very much. At first, I think I was a little skeptical of the hire. I was like, "Oh, well, this is just the last guy available." No, that game that he called last night, he wasn't afraid of anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he was gonna run the ball, And then if I wasn't working, he like you said,
Yeah.
I mean, he
Yeah.
wasn't phased.
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't phased. And it showed me to the point where, okay, if this thing that we're heavily relying upon isn't working, I have something else I can pivot to. I have other things in my coaching playbook that I can draw up. Like, it shows me that he knows how to use his playmakers. Like, because there were times where Dennis Allen, I mean, Chris Olave
Zach
is
Bond
running.
was getting donuts.
Chris Olave
Like,
is running 5-yard outs. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing, man? This is a 4-3 guy with hands like glue. Like, put him in position to make plays, bro. Like, so that's what I'm most impressed with. The fact that he is able to maximize the talent he has on his roster and, put them in positions to put points on the board.
Right. And we're gonna move to the Kansas City offense because it just wasn't there at all. The Eagles defense was all over them, not
Yeah.
giving Mahomes any breathing room. But there were a little bit of bright spots, and you can say that the Xavier Worthy was garbage time. But man, honestly, what an amazing game from Xavier Worthy that no one is talking about at all. It's the quietest 8 receptions for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns that I've ever seen in my life, averaging 19 yards a catch. Talk about his game and why wasn't Kansas City able to open absolutely anything else? Obviously, that Eagles defense was unbelievable, but they just could not do anything.
Well, I think they were shell shocked. They ran the ball 3 times in the first half. It's hard to, if you want to stop a pass rush, you run the ball. Like, make them, pull back a little bit, give them a different look or something like that. Philadelphia gave up more rushing yards than passing yards this season. And Kansas City ran the ball 3 times in the first half. Like, I understand you have Pat Mahomes, but it is still a team effort. Like, you have to use everybody on the field. That was the problem right there. I didn't see any screen plays. Like, I didn't see any type of trickery from Andy Reid. I don't know if it's because he was down, so he didn't already, want to play with fire or anything like that. But they kind of almost made it easy on the Eagles. If you're going to keep trying to drop back, okay, I'm going to just keep rushing forward. We already winning our matchups, and you're not going to have a good day. It's that simple.
And see, I think that's where Andy Reid messed up.
Yeah.
Is that he didn't play with the fire. Because when you're down 14, 21, 24, 34, the only way to get back in the game is to play with fire.
Yeah.
And what's either going to happen is you're going to burn the house down, the house that's already on fire. You're going to burn it down completely, or you're going to find a way to stop it. You're going to put it out. And it was just they don't have the running game that the Eagles have or even the Saints have with Alvin Kamara.
Right.
They have Pacheco, Pirine, and Kareem Hunt. But still, give them a chance. It's the Super Bowl. If they're good enough to be on your roster, then you need to give them a chance. And I understand Patrick Mahomes is great. He's one of the greatest players to ever play this game. One of the greatest athletes to ever walk this earth. But Patrick Mahomes was not going to win you that game last night. And that's the difference between the two offenses. Is when Saquon wasn't going to win the Eagles the game, Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts were like, all right, we'll do it this way.
Yeah.
And the Andy Reid and the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes was not going to win them the game last night.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if they, not that they would, but they didn't even try. They didn't even try to let Kareem Hunt have or anything like that. So,
well, and that leads me to my last question because this gotta be quick. What did 15 need to do differently, man? And are these Chiefs gonna be back where we love them most?
Well,
this needs to be quick too.
Mahomes pretty much he gave up 14 points with the pick 6 to Cooper DeJean, which was a bad read. He didn't see DeJean at all, and with the fumble at the end of the game, which put them in prime position to score. So quite and simple, like, you can't turn the ball over.
Right.
Your offense already is struggling to move the ball. You can't turn the ball over and make it easier on them to score.
Yeah, and in terms of will they be back, they'll be back in the playoffs for sure. We'll see what happens. Will Travis Kelce retire? We'll see. I think they might need to get a little better on the offensive line. They're going to need to get a better wide receiver or something like that. But they'll be back within the Super Bowl within 5 years for sure.
All right. Well, I think so too, man. I think they're going to be back here just as long as they keep the right pieces together, right staff together, they are going to be back. They're always going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Man, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you guys so much. Jaden Smith, William Gilreath joining me today for another episode of Out of Bounds. Y'all have a good one.